already told you, Vietnam is now united. It used to be separated in the north and the south. Wait, it's so loud here. I hope you can hear me. But the Vietnam used to be separated in the north and the south. And the war was happening here between the two different ideologies, two different ways of how people saw the future of Vietnam. But it all ended at some point, because now Vietnam is united under one government, one ideology, one political way of developing the country. It all ended on April 30th of 1975. And there was an agreement, of course, to unite the country, to live under the same flag. And where we are heading right now, that's the Palace of Reunification, where the final agreement ending the war was signed. So let's go there and see how it looks like. And I have to remind again that the war ended by the North, the communist North winning over the non-communist South. Hello, just one ticket, yes. There are different options, yeah? This is the 65, yeah? Okay. So two different tickets actually. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so here we see the palace. This is the Independence Palace. And a big fountain. Oh, not so big. So of course this is an important building for the current government of Vietnam, because it symbolizes the victory of the North over the South. So why exactly this place? You may be wondering, why is it so important? Why does it symbolize the end of the Vietnamese War? Because on April 30, 1975, a North Vietnamese, so communist, army tank, it crashed through the gates right here and entered the premises of the palace. And you see two tanks right here. I don't know which one exactly crashed through. Maybe both of them did. I think they must be somehow connected to the events on April 30, 1975. And it symbolized the fall of the Southern Vietnam government and the victory of the North Vietnam here, the communist tank. Okay, let's get closer and take a look at it. So this is the North Vietnam tank that entered the premises of the palace, commemorating the fall of the South, the fall of the non-communist Vietnam. That was when the further 50 years of Vietnam, that was the moment when the further 50 years of Vietnamese history were decided. Ever since, it has been communist. Ever since this tank right here entered the premises. And you have here another tank as well. They say tanks here, so maybe it was not just one tank. There were several of them. Yeah. On the 30th of April 1975, I'm telling you the truth here. And there were 4 different commanders. And it's T-59, I think that's the Soviet tank. Not mistaken, I wouldn't be surprised so much. I think it should be. Yeah. And there were probably 2 of them, as you see. Unified country of Vietnam. South and North don't exist anymore, although you can still see the difference in the culture. And also the Vietnamese people, if you ask them, the majority will say there is a clear difference between the North and the South. And then the middle, the center of Vietnam, is also a bit different, which is pretty interesting, no? Let's take a look. But this one looks like a US bombardier. Judging by the star on the side, let's just let the kid take a selfie there, photo there. Yeah, it's a fighter aircraft. Okay, so the Lieutenant Nguyen Thanh Trung on 8th of April 1975, he was a communist, and he infiltrated the South Vietnam army, and he stole this airplane. Well, he was allowed to use it, of course, and he bombarded the palace here. So there was sabotage. So you see they crossed out also the star symbolizing the US military, maybe the South Vietnamese military. Yeah. So you can tell they're not the big fans. The army of North Vietnam was not really fond of US and anything that has to do with the South Vietnamese government. I mean, there was a war, really. You can still see, as I tell you, you can still see the differences between the culture in North and the South, and there is still a bit of a rivalry between the two, but it's not really as intense as it used to be. Of course, there is no war, there is no armed conflict, and as far as I know, there is no attempt to overthrow the government in Hanoi, which is in the north, but there is clearly some movement that is not, that's here in the south, that is not very fond of the government in the north. One more interesting fact about this palace: it was not always called Reunification Palace, of course, because it was not about reunification before the reunification took place in 1975. It used to be called Notre-Dame Palace because it was built by the French during the colonial rule in 1873. Imagine that, such a long time ago, but it was definitely rebuilt several times because you can tell the style is much more of a communist style building than something that the French would build in 1873. Yeah, maybe I think too well of the French architectural style. And there were several bombings of the palace also. In 1962, for example, there was a bombing accident from the air forces. They were trying to assassinate the president Ngo Dinh Diem. He survived. He was in the palace, but there was a severe damage made to the palace due to that incident. It's pretty big. Wow, they even have a helicopter parking spot on the roof. Check this here. Wow, this looks massive, actually. Let's first take a look what it is. Okay, this is the South Vietnamese government. You can tell by the way they dress, by the way they look. They didn't look very communist. And this was the room where they were dining, the South Vietnamese officials. And they were accepting the visitors here from the US, for example. They were supporting strongly the South Vietnamese government that was fighting the communists in the north. Interesting. That was the cabinet room, so from the ministers, where the ministers would sit. So the president, Thieu, and the ministers would sit in this place right here because Saigon was the capital of the South Vietnam. So they would have their meetings here and discussing important measures, how to fight the North Vietnam and how to take over Hanoi. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them, but they were still making big plans here. Maybe having visitors from abroad that were supporting them in their fight for the power in Vietnam. Because, I mean, the story could have been different. It could have been the reunification in Hanoi when the South Vietnamese forces came there and took over. But it didn't happen. It happened the other way around. But that's history, right? That's how it is. Yeah, so there was a bombing of the palace at some point. There was a member of the underground Communist Party of Vietnam, Lieutenant Nguyen Van Thuy, that I showed you the airplane. He infiltrated the South Vietnamese army, and he was a pilot. So he just took an airplane and he bombed this place. have the Ho Chi Minh chilling there in the corner, of course, after the victory of the North. And the carpets. I wonder if it comes from Soviet Union. As well, like carpets. Okay, so the resignation speech of the President Thieu of South Vietnam was held here in this room. He spoke for over 2 hours. And that was the moment also when the Americans decided to discontinue the support of the South of Vietnam. Actually, the Vice President, Tran Van Huong, he refused to surrender. And he kept on fighting, but only for 1 week longer. And then he resigned. Yeah. I mean, we're all tough before the North Vietnamese army comes over. It's huge, huh? So that was basically the end of the South Vietnam right here in this room. It's amazing. Like, you can just be here and observe it. And that's where the president of South Vietnam resigned, right here in front on this stage. Can you imagine that? Like he said, it's over, the war is over, because Americans did not want to support anymore, because apparently they saw it as a lost case, which was a pity for the South Vietnamese, of course, because they relied a lot on American support, but it was cancelled, and that's it. They had to live with that. But as much as the North Vietnamese relied on the Soviet support, so there was a proxy war, basically, by the Soviets and the Americans. Although Soviets did not send the regular troops to Vietnam, as far as I know. I haven't lived there at that time. But you tell me, if you know that, tell me. But as far as I know, no, didn't happen. There was more financial support and the tanks, obviously. You see all the what do you call them, 57? I don't even know. Although I was born in the Soviet Union, but I don't know so much about the tanks. But take a look at these guys. This looks really monstrous. What do you call it? Big, huge. Monstrous in a good way. Here again the carpet, you see? With the dragons, which are typical not just for the Chinese culture, but also the Vietnamese, because they're quite connected. And also dragon is just as much presented here in the Vietnamese culture and folklore and art as it is in China. Okay, this was the presidential reception room. Okay, so that's where he received the visitors. Okay, and the symbol, I was wondering, what is that symbol there? Can you see the symbol on the carpet over there? Yeah, can you see that? That symbolizes the flag of the South Vietnam, of the non-communist Vietnam. That's why they put it here. And here in the photo, you see, I think that's a meeting with Henry Kissinger. Maybe not. I think that's the president right here. Oh, that's the president and his guests. That's not Henry Kissinger. Right here you see the president of the South Vietnam, Nguyen Van Thieu, and the guests. And also the American president was here. Here you have. Wow, that's a big table. That was the presidential office here. The president of South Vietnam. He was actually involved in a coup d'etat. So he was trying to overthrow the President Diem in 1963. That's how he made his way up in a political career. It's a National Security Council chamber. The maps over there, overviewing the whole Vietnam. So you can see there was Hanoi in the north, Saigon in the south. That's how it was separated. So they would make big plans here, but it didn't work out for them. Here the balcony, maybe they would chill here on this balcony, smoke or something, or talk about their plans to capture Hanoi, to liberate Vietnam. But it never worked out. The national security. So it has been about 50 years now that the war has been over. So it's actually not so long compared to the Second World War. That's why you still have all the furniture and everything here. It doesn't look so old. Let's go here, but it's huge. And then of course that was the presidential palace. Oh, so much art. Take a look. It's very fancy. You have the symbols of the South Vietnam there again. Even on the chairs. Put them there. Beautiful art. A bedroom. Okay. I could use that one, but it looks a bit empty. I mean, my apartment is also quite empty, but it's just a bit too much. Let's take a look. The bed is more the modern bed, not the traditional Vietnamese bed. Yeah. But also you will see the difference in Saigon. There's much more influence of French culture in many ways. Furniture, the way what people eat, a lot of influence. Speaking about the food here. That's where they would eat, in this room here. Oh, and a nice garden. Take a look at that. And a frog. Very comforted. Which looks very similar, but a bit more fancy. And they have the symbols. I think that's the golden symbols you have here, here, here. You got 6 of them. That's again representing the flag of South Vietnam, if I'm not mistaken right now, because it looks very similar, at least to me. Yeah, same bed actually, but definitely an expensive table. Oh. I wonder if those are real. The elephant feet. Yeah, I think they're real. This is the collection here. Wow. This actually looks a bit weird, if you ask me. The collection of the ship models here. Oh, take a look at this. Saigon Equate Camp. This was probably some military, I would assume so. Tell me, those who speak Vietnamese, please, what it means, but I assume it's a military symbol of some regiment or something. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, again, look at the art. It looks a bit like Egyptian to me. Some boats, a lot of golden color. Actually looks really, really cool, this palace here. Okay, we've been here. Well, this is the bombing of the palace took place here basically. I already spoke about that, yeah. About the pilot from the South Vietnamese army that was an agent of the North Vietnam that bombed this place. Look at this chandelier. Must be tough to still maintain all that in a good condition, no? Yes, we hear the balcony. They were probably the South Vietnamese government president and ministers were chilling here, overlooking Saigon, the avenue right there. Yeah, there were different flags here, not the ones you see now here. Definitely not the red flags. Maybe here. Oh, look, we can go up. leading to the president's room. Oh wow, we're going to the president's room. President's room. Let's go to the president's room of South Vietnam. Would you look at that? How many shelves here with the clothes, maybe for his wife or his family members. The shoes also there. This is the symbol of South Vietnam, right here. I'm pretty sure about that. Presidential bedroom where he slept with his wife, I guess. Or whoever he wanted to. Okay. It looks quite modest still. Yeah, there's a picture, a photo of his wife, I think. That's where the presidential magic happened. You have the symbol of Vietnam again. Yeah, the perfume, that's where the presidential wife would, the first lady of Vietnam, would take care of herself with some perfume, Chanel No. 5, make her hair. The toilet, we can even see the toilet. It was also probably used by, they even have two, but that's probably bidet, another one. I don't think they did it next to each other. Kind of reminds me of the Soviet schools. It's horrible. But no, it's wrong because there are no toilets. It's a hole in the ground. Let's see. I don't know where we're going now. Actually looks very dark for being a presidential palace. Also very big. Whoa, very tall entrances here, no? Because Vietnamese people are normally not so tall. Okay, it goes down now. Okay, let's see where we get now. By going down this stairs here. I think we just get out on the other side, basically. Let's see in here. I wonder if I can go. Or it goes this direction now. I'm a bit lost in this palace, but I need to see the other floors also. I haven't been here. The vice president office. And his wife there. Nguyen Cao Qui. Nguyen Cao Qui. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Well, they just tried to get over, to get close. Okay, I thought the staircase will bring me to the helicopter pad, but no. That's actually the First Lady of South Vietnam, receiving Mademoiselle Mère Lyon, the wife of French ambassador. So this was the room, I think, where they met. Dining room. And they were probably talking, looking at the palm trees out here, enjoying the view. I can imagine. I can see that. I thought that's a cinema. No. Maybe. I think it was more like a theater here. Take a look at that. How much fun people had here, huh? Actually, from here you can see the helicopter pad. I don't think you can go there, but you see the helicopter right there. Also the South Vietnamese helicopter. With the star crossed out. Again. Interesting. Projection room. Let's go to the projection room. Okay, it was a cinema indeed. Look at this devices here. So they would show the movies there for elites. South Vietnamese elites. Oh, we're going into the roof. Let's see the roof. here you can also see the helicopter right there. But the bunker must be downstairs. Maybe that's just another entrance from the roof for protection. Let's see how we get to the bunker. Oh, right here. Oh, I can go to the bunker from here? No, I don't think so. Okay, we made it there, to the bunker. I think that's a South Vietnamese bunker, definitely. Plants. Map of Vietnam. Map of Saigon. It's a commanding center, but at the same time also a shelter where they could send information here in this desk here. And some of the communication devices they came from the US. So definitely South Vietnamese bunker. Cool window. Oh, communications chief here. So he would talk and use here the Siemens. Look, German devices here. Siemens. General Electric. Oh wow, this looks big. We'll be coding the messages here, maybe. Reading them. Sending messages also. Communicating with each other. Wow, this looks big. A lot of stuff, huh? Everything is in English, so I think it was delivered by the US. Oh, it goes further down, but unfortunately we cannot go there. It's the exit. Look how narrow it is. Oh, president's bedroom. Okay. Pretty small, maybe. Maybe. Take a look at that. Even when sleeping, he would overlook the map of Southeast Asia. He would still make plans even while sleeping. But sleeping is no excuse. Sleep is no excuse for not making plans. It was his office, I think, in the bunker, when he had to take a shelter. Yes, President's War Room. Situation room. Oh, it goes further down. Look, it's not over yet. Okay. That's where it ends. Let me see if I can buy something here. With the South Vietnamese symbols, maybe not. It's more celebrating the victory of the North Vietnam, you see here? Oh, he looks so cute. Take a look. Wow. Very colorful. I'm sure my mom would like that. My mom can tell me, because now she's watching, if she would like to have one of those. Oh, you can even buy a tank. Insane. Oh, even Christmas ball. Take a look at that. I think that's hilarious. Of course, because that was Team West. South Vietnam was Team West. So they wouldn't get their Победа, Чайка from the Soviets. They would get their Mercedes from Germans. Or from the Americans, US. Take a look, that's where they were training to shoot. I have some faces there, with the North Vietnamese faces as they saw them. I guess so. Okay. I give this palace 7 out of 10. It's big. I like some of the furniture, but I would say it looks a bit empty. And even though it was not communist, it still looks a bit communist. Maybe that's just the old style. Maybe that's not communist exactly as such, but this is my feeling about it. Because they kept it in pretty much the same condition as it was when the North Vietnam took over. It's a bit of a time capsule here. So from 1975, they didn't change almost anything inside. Okay, yeah, the exhibition is on the left, 200 meters. Let's see what is so cool about the exhibition. But what I like about it, why I give it maybe a couple points more, it's really big. It's really big and you can go almost anywhere you want. You can film, there is no problem. I like that. It just, you can explore as you want, as long as you're still respectful, of course. I don't touch what you don't have to touch, which I do sometimes. You'll be fine. The exhibition over there, following the exhibition. Let's see, I can see on the map also. Let's check the map. As you might know, French used to rule these lands, used to colonize Vietnam and not just Vietnam. So this sir here, he used to be the Governor General of French Indochina and Indochina. And Indochina was also where we are right now, Vietnam. We have another sir over here, probably also French. Pierre-Paul Marie de la Grandière, who was the governor of these places here. And this palace was built by the French under their rule before becoming an independent palace. In 1886, I think, it was built. They look very elegant. So it was in fact the capital of the French Cochinchina, Saigon, not Hanoi. Very nice. This is this exhibition building. I think it was also part of the palace before, maybe some secondary building. involved, many interests, of course. Many people suffered on both sides. Very unpleasant moment in the history of Vietnam, and many international powers involved as well. It's all quite sad, actually. Interesting, so 1945, Japanese even cooked against the French government. So Japanese and French, they were also partners of the later Vietnam, South Vietnam. They were actually competitors back in the days because they both wanted to rule this place. And of course, Japanese in the Second World War, they were on the other side than the French. So it was quite obvious that they were trying to fight against each other to kick the other one out of here. That's why the Japanese were trying to take over Vietnam from the French. And Japan, as such, has also very interesting history. And I'm looking forward to seeing it one day, because it used to be on different sides of history, so to say. There's a bit of a mix also, but it still preserves its history and culture in a respect